We often associate famine with distant lands. We think of Africa or Asia. But what about America? The land of plenty has a history marked by periods of scarcity and hunger. The most well-known American famine is the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. This catastrophic event brought severe dust storms and agricultural devastation to the Great Plains. Millions of Americans faced hunger and displacement. The Dust Bowl serves as a stark reminder that even the most prosperous nations can experience famine. It highlights the delicate balance between humanity and nature. The Dust Bowl was not a single event but a period of severe dust storms. These storms ravaged the American prairies during the 1930s. The Dust Bowl era is generally considered to have lasted from 1930 to 1939. The worst dust storms occurred in 1934 and 1935. These black blizzards darkened the skies for days. The dust traveled thousands of miles, reaching as far as the East Coast. The Dust Bowl had a profound impact on American society and culture. It led to mass migration, economic hardship, and a rethinking of agricultural practices. The Dust Bowl was not solely caused by natural phenomena. A combination of factors contributed to its severity. One major factor was a prolonged drought. Years of below-average rainfall parched the land. Another contributing factor was poor farming practices. Farmers had plowed under vast areas of native grasslands. These grasslands had helped to anchor the soil and retain moisture. Without them, the soil was left vulnerable to wind erosion. The Great Depression exacerbated the situation. The economic downturn made it difficult for farmers to invest in soil conservation measures. The Dust Bowl became a vicious cycle of environmental degradation and economic hardship. Section 4. The Grapes of Wrath. Stories from the Dust Bowl. This section delves into the harrowing experiences of those who lived through one of the most challenging periods in American history. The human toll of the Dust Bowl was immense. The relentless dust storms turned once fertile lands into barren wastelands, making farming impossible and leaving families in despair. Families lost their farms and livelihoods. The land that had sustained them for generations was now inhospitable, leading to widespread foreclosures and abandonment of homes. Many were forced to migrate west in search of work and a better life. The journey was arduous, with families packing their few remaining possessions into old cars and heading towards an uncertain future. John Steinbeck's classic novel, The Grapes of Wrath, captures the plight of these Dust Bowl refugees. Through his vivid storytelling, Steinbeck brings to life the struggles and resilience of those who endured this harsh reality. The novel tells the story of the Joad family. This fictional family represents the thousands of real families who faced similar hardships during this time. They are driven from their Oklahoma farm by the dust storms and the economic hardships of the Depression. The relentless winds and choking dust made it impossible to grow crops, while the Great Depression compounded their financial woes. The Joads, like thousands of others, load up their meager belongings and head west to California. They travel along Route 66, the Mother Road, hoping to find work and a new beginning in the promised land of California. They are promised a land of opportunity, but they soon discover that life in California is not as easy as it seems. The migrant camps are overcrowded and the work is scarce and poorly paid. The dream of a better life remains elusive for many as they face exploitation and harsh living conditions. Section 5. Beyond the Dust Bowl, Famine in America's History. The Dust Bowl is the most well-known example of famine in American history, but it is not the only one. This catastrophic event in the 1930s saw massive dust storms ravage the Great Plains, displacing thousands of families and devastating farmlands. The combination of severe drought and poor agricultural practices turned fertile soil into barren dust, leading to widespread hunger and economic hardship. From the earliest days of colonization, settlers and Native Americans alike faced periods of food scarcity. The struggle to grow enough food to sustain communities was a constant challenge. Native American tribes had developed sophisticated agricultural techniques, but even they were not immune to the harsh realities of nature. The Jamestown colony in Virginia experienced a starving time during the winter of 1609 to 1610. This period was marked by extreme hunger and desperation. Colonists resorted to eating anything they could find, including horses, dogs, and even shoe leather. The harsh winter, combined with a lack of adequate supplies and strained relations with local Native American tribes, created a dire situation. Disease, drought, and conflict with Native Americans led to a severe food shortage. The settlers were unprepared for the harsh conditions and lacked the knowledge to cultivate the land effectively. Many succumbed to illness and malnutrition, and the colony teetered on the brink of collapse. Only 60 of the original 500 colonists survived. This tragic loss underscored the vulnerability of early American settlements and the harsh realities they faced. The survivors were eventually able to rebuild, but the memory of the starving time lingered as a stark reminder of the fragility of human life in the face of nature's challenges. Throughout the 18th and 19th centuries, various regions of the United States experienced localized famines due to crop failures, natural disasters, and economic downturns. These events disrupted food production and distribution, leading to periods of scarcity and hardship for many communities. The resilience and ingenuity of the American people were often tested as they sought to overcome these challenges and ensure their survival. Section 6. The Enduring Legacy of Famine. The legacy of famine in America is a complex one, woven deeply into the fabric of the nation's history. It serves as a stark reminder of the country's vulnerability to both natural disasters and economic hardship. These periods of extreme scarcity and suffering highlight the fragility of human existence in the face of nature's unpredictability. The economic downturns that often accompanied these famines exacerbated the struggles of countless families, pushing them to the brink of survival. Yet, amid the despair, the resilience of the American spirit shone through. Communities banded together, neighbors helped one another, and a collective effort to rebuild and recover emerged as a powerful force. The Dust Bowl, one of the most devastating environmental disasters in American history, led to significant changes in agricultural practices. The relentless dust storms that swept across the Great Plains destroyed crops, displaced families, and left a lasting scar on the land. In response, the federal government stepped in, implementing soil conservation programs designed to prevent future dust storms. These initiatives marked a turning point in how the nation approached land management and agricultural sustainability. Farmers, too, adapted by adopting new techniques such as contour plowing and crop rotation. These methods helped protect the soil from erosion and ensured more sustainable farming practices. The lessons learned from the Dust Bowl continue to inform agricultural practices today. Modern-day farmers still rely on these time-tested techniques to maintain soil health and productivity. However, the threat of climate change poses new challenges to food security. As weather patterns become more erratic and extreme, farmers must continually adapt to protect their crops and livelihoods. The enduring legacy of famine serves as a poignant reminder of the need for vigilance, innovation, and resilience in the face of an ever-changing world. Section 7. A stark reminder. The history of famine in America serves as a stark reminder that food security is not a given. It is something that must be constantly protected and nurtured. As we face the challenges of climate change and a growing global population, we must remember the lessons of the past. We must invest in sustainable agricultural practices, support policies that promote food security, and work together to ensure that everyone has access to the food they need. The story of famine in America is not just a historical footnote, it is a cautionary tale and a call to action.